Have you ever felt a chill that wasn't from the cold? A whisper that wasn't a breeze? Tonight, we delve into a chilling account that blurs the line between reality and nightmare. Prepare yourselves, for some doors, once opened, can never be truly closed. This is the terrifying true story of Apartment 6C. Flickering hallway light, old apartment building exterior, true horror story, Apartment 6C. Distant thunder, soft, eerie music begins, almost a low hum. Some places are cursed long before you arrive, their very foundations steeped in forgotten dread. And some doors, no matter how inviting, should never, ever be opened. This is not just a story. It's a chilling testament to the unseen forces that linger, waiting. This is the unsettling account of Apartment 6C, a place where silence screams and shadows hold secrets. For those who crave the thrill of the unknown and the chill of true horror, this narrative will grip you. It will make you question the safety of your own walls. Young woman, Lena, dragging boxes into an old apartment hallway. The camera lingers on the door 6C, then pans to show the building's aged, almost decaying facade. Creaking door, distant, almost imperceptible whispers begin to weave into the ambient sound. Lena, at 27, was desperate for a new beginning. A recent breakup had left her adrift, seeking solace and a fresh slate in the bustling heart of the city. When she stumbled upon Apartment 6C, a surprisingly affordable one-bedroom in an old downtown building, it felt like a godsend. It was clean, spacious, and oddly available, almost too good to be true. Lena, blinded by hope and the promise of a new chapter, didn't ask the crucial questions. She should have probed deeper, for the building itself seemed to hold its breath, watching her every move. Whispering intensifies, only audible late at night. Tap dripping, unnaturally loud. Clock ticking, each second a heavy beat. The very first night, a subtle dread began to creep in. Lena heard them, soft, murmuring voices, like a hushed conversation just beyond her perception. They would cease abruptly the moment she flicked on a light, leaving her in an unsettling silence. She initially dismissed it, attributing the sounds to noisy neighbors or the creaks of an old building settling. But then, a chilling realization dawned. The apartment next door, she discovered, was completely empty, its windows dark and vacant. The whispers, she slowly understood, were not coming from outside. They were emanating from within her very walls, a spectral chorus echoing through the plaster and brick. It was a sound that burrowed deep into her psyche, eroding her sense of security. Old security camera footage, grainy and glitchy, showing a figure. Show Lena checking a peephole, her eye wide with fear. On the third night, the unsettling sounds escalated. A faint scratching began at her door, a rhythmic, deliberate scrape that sent shivers down her spine. Driven by a terrifying curiosity, Lena peered through the peephole. What she saw froze her blood. A woman, clad in a tattered, almost translucent dress, stood motionless in the dimly lit hallway. Her posture was rigid, her face obscured by shadow, but Lena could feel an intense, unblinking stare directed at her door. When Lena finally mustered the courage to call the front desk, the response was chilling. They insisted no one else lived on that floor, that the hallway should be empty. And when she finally, hesitantly, opened her door, the corridor was indeed deserted. Lena staring at a small closet, its door slightly ajar, light bulb flickering inside, casting dancing shadows. Close up on Lena's trembling hands. Heavy, ragged breathing, a slow, deliberate heartbeat, echoing whispers, now more distinct, almost forming words. That weekend, a new insidious detail emerged. The hallway closet, a small, unassuming space, was always slightly ajar. No matter how many times Lena firmly closed it, it would inevitably, silently, creep open again. Driven by a growing sense of unease, she taped it shut, crisscrossing the door with industrial-strength adhesive. She even stacked heavy boxes in front of it, creating a barricade against the unseen force. She believed she had secured her sanctuary. But at precisely 3:12 a.m., a sound ripped her from her fitful sleep. It wasn't the whispers this time, it was a profound, heart-wrenching sob. A low, wet cry, like someone weeping with an unbearable, eternal sorrow. And it was undeniably coming from inside the closet. Lena finds a yellowed, brittle envelope tucked under her doormat. It says, "Don't stay." The camera zooms in on the stark block letters. A low, guttural growl replaces the crying, then a sharp violin screech. Cut to black, then a sudden jarring static burst. The next morning, a chilling discovery awaited her. Tucked neatly under her doormat was a yellowed, ancient envelope. Inside, 2 words printed in stark block letters screamed a silent warning, "Don't stay." There was no handwriting, no discernible trace of who had left it. Panic clawed at Lena's throat. She rushed to the landlord's office, desperate for answers, for an explanation. But the office was deserted, the unit manager seemingly vanished for days. And then, the ultimate betrayal, the building's official registry. Flipping through the dusty pages, Lena found her apartment, 6C. But it wasn't listed as occupied. It was crossed out, as if it no longer existed, as if she no longer existed within its records. A distant scream seemed to echo through the empty halls, followed by a burst of static. Lena frantically researching on an old, flickering laptop. Newspaper clippings, yellowed and brittle, appear on screen. One headline reads, "Woman missing, foul play suspected, closet door ripped from hinges." That night, sleep was an impossible luxury. Lena delved deeper, her fingers trembling as she typed. She unearthed a forgotten tragedy from 1996. A woman named Clara Benson had vanished without a trace from apartment 6C. Clara's last known words to her sister, chillingly recounted in an old newspaper article, were, "It's in the closet. It watches me when I sleep." The police found no body, only bloodstains and a closet door ripped violently from its hinges, deep claw marks scarring its interior. The parallels were too terrifying to ignore. Lena was not just living in an apartment. She was living in a tomb, a place where history was doomed to repeat itself. The whispers, the woman, the closet, it was all connected, a sinister tapestry woven from past horrors. Silence. Then, slow, deliberate footsteps echoing from the hallway. The whispers return, louder, more insistent, almost forming Lena's name. Lights flicker erratically. Lena knew she had to leave. Her bags were packed, her mind set on escape. But as she reached for the door, the apartment plunged into darkness. The power had died. Her phone, a lifeline to the outside world, was dead. The windows, inexplicably, were jammed shut. And the front door, her only exit, was chained from the inside. A heavy, rusted chain, impossible to break. Then, a deafening bang erupted from the closet door, rattling the entire apartment. Silence followed, a silence more terrifying than any scream. She turned, her heart a frantic drum against her ribs. The tape was gone, the boxes were scattered. The closet door, once a symbol of her futile resistance, was wide open, a gaping maw of impenetrable darkness. Lena trembling, her face pale with terror. She approaches the closet with a flickering flashlight, its beam swallowed by the void. Inside, nothing but absolute darkness, a void that seems to breathe. Lena, trapped and utterly alone, felt an icy dread seep into her bones. The air grew heavy, thick with an unseen presence. She raised her trembling flashlight, its weak beam swallowed by the absolute blackness within the closet. As she stepped closer, her voice a mere whisper, she uttered the words that sealed her fate. "What do you want?" The silence that followed was deafening, pregnant with an unspeakable horror. Then, a voice, cold and ancient, breathed directly behind her ear. "You." The screen erupted in static, a final jarring cut to black. The last thing heard was a faint, guttural gasp, then nothing. Police tape over the door of apartment 6C lights flicker out, plunging the hallway into darkness. A single distorted frame of a closet door opening slowly, then something dark and indistinct crawling out. Radio chatter, distant sirens, a faint, echoing whisper, "I'm still here." They found her phone days later, discarded amidst the chaos of apartment 6C. On it, a single video, 12 seconds long. It showed a closet door, slowly, agonizingly, creaking open. And then, something dark, something indescribable, crawling out from the abyssal depths within. The footage ended abruptly, leaving only questions, only dread. Lena was never seen again. Apartment 6C remains vacant, its secrets locked within its walls, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul. Would you dare to stay in apartment 6C? Would you ignore the whispers, the shadows, the chilling history? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story sent shivers down your spine, hit that like button. Subscribe for more true horror.